Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy you could join me today. This video is going to be exclusively a Cricut Design Space video. I want to share with you how I designed this card in Cricut Design Space. We won't spend any time at the craft table because there's really not much to do once you get over there. Basically, it's just a matter of gluing layer 1 to layer 2, putting it onto your card base, and then putting in your card liner and adding a bow and a couple of gems. So let's get started in Design Space and see how I figured out all these pieces. Let's start with the inside of the card first. Okay, so I'm going to move this off to the side here. This is my card blank. Okay, so you've got this piece and this piece, and they would join together here, right? Are you visualizing this with me? And let's take all of this away. And then this would be on the inside of the card. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. So just for the sake of ease, let's take away the card base. All right, it's gone now. The card blank is now gone. All right, this is going to be our inside liner with our sentiment, which just happens to be this Irish blessing. And all I did here was figure out what size rectangle I wanted. I'm using a 4.557 by 5.82. I usually have a round number, but for some reason on this card I didn't. Okay, and by the way, this card is, let's see, I took that card base away and now I'm sorry I did that. This is a 5 by 6.5 card, size card. It's going to be going in an envelope that measures approximately 5 1/4 by 7. Okay, the reason for my unusual size is I found a bunch of card blanks with matching envelopes, and I thought, oh, I need to be using these. They're big, but I liked them. They were a pretty vanilla beige color, so I thought, okay, let's use these. And so that's the size they were, so I made this card to fit those envelopes and that card base. Okay, so back to this inside liner. All I did is I chose my rectangle and I made it blue. All right, so let's just take this all apart. I'm going to unflatten it. All right, so we have this blue base. Then we have this piece. And this paper happens to be from DeCossa's Dynamite Doodles Mommy Dearest. The way I did that is I came over to Shapes and I picked up my square, which I then turned into a rectangle. I could do it this way, or I can type numbers in up here. Either way. Now this is sort of new in Cricut. You can move this around without unlocking it now. You can change the size. However, if you want to type in the numbers, you still have to unlock it and you can still relock it. All right, so here's the size of my first layer. Okay, I just came up then and chose my color, blue. Then for this piece, I have a couple of choices. I can either go grab another rectangle. I could copy this one by right-clicking and duplicating. Okay, then sizing it down. Okay, or I could, if I knew exactly how much smaller I wanted it to be, I could come up here and click offset and make it an inset, give it square corners, and hit apply. All right, so let's just do that one for right now. Now, I knew that I wanted to use this really pretty floral paper. So I'm going to come in here and say I want to print then cut. I'm going to left click my blue square, left click color, then I'm going to click pattern, and I'm going to find that pattern in here, and I'm going to click it. Once it comes in, then I can hit edit pattern and I can change the size, and I'd like that to be bigger. This piece of paper just happens to be a repeat pattern, so this is not a problem. I can bring it in just the way it is. Okay, now I have those two layers done. Now I have this square, or actually it's still a rectangle, that goes behind this rectangle. All right, so I'm just going to set this down here for a moment, and I'm going to go back to this one. What I did here is I brought in, I'm going to unflatten that. I just typed the word Irish blessing. I just typed that word in. Okay, came over to text and typed Irish blessing on my keyboard. My font here is, and I can figure that out just by selecting it. I'm looking right up here. It says Americana Standard. So let's get rid of this well, I'll leave this up for just a minute. Okay, so I've got this piece. I'm going to bring it to the front. I've got my Irish blessing that I've typed in. I'm going to bring that to the front. I have this little piece. It's called March 17th, and it's from Diva Watts in your Cricut Design Space. Brought that in. Whoops, let's bring it back to the front. Can bring that in. Now we have this quote. Now this quote is not from Cricut Design Space. I'm bringing in just a page from my computer pages. And I'm just going to type my dog is Luther. Okay. All I have to do now is do a Control C, which on my computer is a Control Copy. So we're going to copy that. I'm going to move it back over, and I'm going to come in here, bring up my text, and all I'm going to do is click in this text box. I'm going to do a Control V. There we go. And there it is. My dog is Luther. So anything that you want to pick up, you can just highlight it, do a Control Copy, and I'm going to take you back here, and we're going to do this one more time. Bring in your text, double click it so it turns blue like that, and then hit Control V, and there it is. Then you can come up here and you can change your font to anything you like. Okay, and if I remember right, that was Americana Standard. So I'm typing in Americana, and right there it is. And then I can change the size of my text any way I like. And that is how I brought the Irish blessing in. Now, this other piece down here is 4-leaf clover. I just picked that up and put it down there as just like a little embellishment. So I'm going to pick this all up together and bring it right into place. And I understand you can't see it. It's okay. I'm not too worried about that just yet. And now I'm going to click and say bring to front. And there it is. So let's move these two pieces away for a moment, and let's just sort of play with this a little bit. So I'm going to choose this, bring it up. I'm going to choose this and bring it down. I'm going to move the whole thing. I'll just grab this one more time, bring it up slightly, move this whole thing up. I'm having trouble grabbing that Irish blessing. If you do, then just tap on it over here in your right hand column and I say bring to front. And now we can move it really easily. I don't think this is exactly the way we had it before, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Right now, what I'm going to do is just show you how I did this. When I got everything where I wanted it, which I think it was more like this, because I wanted room to sign my name down here. So there we go. So I could sign my greeting down here. I'm just going to take it all and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to left click flatten. Again, I know that I want to do a background on this piece so it looks layered. So again, I'm just going to come up here. I'm going to offset it. There we go. I'm going to make sure it has a square corner on it and I'm going to say apply. I know that I want that to be that blue color, so I click the square here and I make it blue. All right, now all I have to do is bring this piece in. I want to go ahead and center all of this, so I'm just going to choose it all. I'm going to come to my align, hit center. It is now centered. Now I'm going to say flatten, and that's it. This is going to print and cut as one piece, and now there's the inside of my card all done. All right, so we're going to just take that and put it aside over here underneath this layer that we had. And that's all done. We can get rid of my dog as Luther. And let's start looking at our front panel. We're going to go ahead and take this grouping out because this is a bow that I tied with ribbon and these are two blue gems. Let's say you didn't have the ribbon or gems, you certainly could cut this from Cricut Design Space out of paper or vinyl or whatever you wanted to use. You already know how to make the offset here, so I'm not going to go through that again. We'll just set it aside. You already know how to bring in paper, so I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And we're just going to start looking at what we have left here. Now, the luck, you already know how to do that too. We just simply type that in and we use the Americana standard. So let's just go ahead and move that away also. This beautiful image is from Connie Fong and it is called Spring Flowers. I will most definitely link that below for you so that you can find that image if you are interested. She is so pretty. I just think she is one of the loveliest images. So if you're interested, I definitely will link her below. Now, I brought her in by uploading her. If you need help uploading images, there are several videos, and I'll try to remember to leave a link to one of those also so that you can find that. So let's move her aside for a moment. Again, Connie Fong, Spring Flowers. And let's take a look at this piece because this is where it gets a little confusing, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, it's really quite easy. I'm going to show you that if I put all of these together and I align them, all this is an offset and copies. So I brought in, let's just ungroup these. I brought in this actual image. This is the image right here. Then I have these two that I've added, and this is an offset. All right, so I knew I wanted this, so I did a Command Copy Command V. That gave me another one. Right? I'm going to move that up there. Now, it's going to come in as a basic cut, just like this. So now I can go over here to the contour panel and I can hide all contours. And now we have this panel right here. So now before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and just make another copy of this, and I'm going to do it differently this time. I left clicked my mouse, I hit duplicate, and there's another copy. I'm going to put it down here for just a minute. What I'm going to do is select this green, this first one. I'm going to say print then cut. I'm going to come in and hit the green square, click pattern, go to the floral, and there it is. Again, I want to edit this pattern. I want to make it a little bit bigger. And there it is. So now we have both of these pieces. I'm going to move this one back to the front. But I wanted just a plainer one on the inside here. Okay. So I went in and I did this one more time, but I wanted those hearts to show. So I'm going to click this one, go over into the panels to contour, left click. I want to close this middle section right here. So I'm going to get rid of that and I'm going to hit my X. Now I wanted this kind of yellowish green paper. I'm going to say I want to print then cut. And I'm going to come in and find that. I believe it's right here. And there we go. So now I have my apple green, I have my pattern in the hearts, and I have this sort of yellow green here. So all I needed to do was to get one more offset here, okay? So I'm going to click this piece because it has nothing cut out. I'm going to say I'd like an offset. I'd like it much smaller, so I'm going to click and make it smaller. And again, I'm doing this on my keyboard, my left arrow, because I wanted it pretty small. Then I'm going to go ahead and at 0.042, I'm going to hit apply. This time I want it rounded corners. I don't want it square cornered. Okay, I wanted it this gray color because I just want it to look like a shadow, because I'm going to pull it over like this, and that's how it's going to sit on my card. So I'm going to take all three of these now. I'm going to align, center, then I'm going to take this up and put it where I think I'd like it. I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to flatten it. And now that's all going to stay together. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these. Now I'm going to bring in my the background and the layering element that goes behind it. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my heart, which is going to automatically be at the front here. I'm going to bring in my word luck, which will probably no longer be at the front. We're going to bring it to the front. And we're going to bring in this lovely image from Connie Fong. Again, it is called Spring Flowers. We're going to move her to the front. Put her in where I want her. And then we see that the luck is not positioned correctly, so we're going to move that up. Going to move her over just a tad. Going to move You can do this one of two ways. You can put this all in one layer. I did not. I chose to go ahead and just cut this layer, but I definitely did flatten all of this. So I'm coming over into this column, hit flatten, and now I will hand cut this at my slicer, paper slicer actually. And again, let's bring in this square, which has gotten moved aside here. And we're just going to bring that up, and there's the front of our card. So let me bring in these pieces again so you know where everything is from. And I'm also going to add for you, we'll add these pieces back in. We're going to move them to the front. I glued in my little Clover pieces and my little, I actually hand colored some seam binding to get a nice blue bow to match everything. At this point, let me just go ahead and type in one more thing for you here. Let's type in the name of this digi just so you can find it. It's Connie Fong Spring Flowers. Okay, so now we have here all of the elements, digipapers, and my focal image here. Again, let's just review real quickly. The heart is from Apple Grove Designs. The Connie Fong Spring Flowers is my focal digi. March 17th is the name of this little piece right here. Irish Blessing I put in with text. The blessing itself is from text. And this is called 4-Leaf Clover, and that is from Diva Watts. Now, over on this side, paper. All of these papers are from DeCosta's Dynamite Doodles, Mommy Dearest, and Luck of the Irish Cloverleaf. Green Apple Crackle Simply Spring is the green right here. Hey, I want to thank you for your time today. I know this video was a long one, so thanks for sticking with me. As you can see, I have everything printed out here for you to review, and you can take a look at what I used in this project. It's also going to be listed in the box below for you with some links if you're looking for any of these items. Any comments or questions, please leave them below for me, and I will get back to you. And I will catch up with you in the next video. Bye.